And I want to talk to you about something today, a topic that is pretty close to my heart because of the age that I'm at, and also in something that's part of my profession in terms of what I do professionally every day. So I want to talk to you about healthy aging. And what is healthy aging really? I'm going to give you some concise information, or some information that's based on definitions from a couple of organizations and bodies. And I'm going to give you some information that is more in line with what I feel and what I believe to be healthy aging in its entirety. Okay. So as somebody who's been in the health and fitness and wellness space for more than 22 years now, worked in various countries around the world, worked with different levels of individuals and groups of people at the same time, one thing I have noticed is that as we age, as we get older, people typically tend to continue to live the same lifestyle that they were living in their 20s and 30s and 40s. And once they reach in their 50s and so forth, or even in the mid to late 40s, their body has started to change and adapt already to the fact that they are aging. Okay, age is something that we cannot bypass at this stage of our evolution. Okay, I don't think we have the technology available to us to be able to stop aging altogether and live forever. And I'm pretty sure there's some people out there that would love that idea, but we are aging, and like it or not, is something that we need to adapt to as well. It's important that we do adapt our lifestyle in all facets of our life to aging. We don't necessarily need to look at ourselves as getting old, because that's certainly not how I look at myself. I don't look at myself as someone who's getting old. I'm 51 this year, but I don't see that in myself. I don't feel that in myself. Very often I feel the strongest and fittest I've been in many years. Okay. However, for the vast majority of folks out there, I see that people, when they are getting their 40s, late 40s, mid 40s, early 50s, and so forth, they don't change the things that they were doing in the past, in their 20s and 30s and 40s, early 40s, and they continue to live that kind of lifestyle. And then they wonder with shock why they have picked up certain ailments, why they've developed certain lifestyle diseases and conditions, and so forth. Okay, and why all of a sudden their health is going to pot. It's just going down the drain, and they can't understand why that is. And very often it's because of an incremental growth of overload of different poisons and toxins and all kinds of stuff that we overload our bodies with physically, emotionally, mentally, and so forth over the years. And we forget that as the body does age, as I've touched on, we can't get around that. So as the body does age, it starts to slow down in many facets and aspects of our aging process. And then the body can't cope any further, or as quickly as it was able to when we were younger and impenetrable and indestructive. Okay, if there's indestructive, yeah, we thought we were going to live forever, and nothing could harm us or kill us or destroy us or knock us off our paths or get us off our way. Unbalance us. We thought we were indestructible, but now that we're aging, and if you're somebody that is aging and you're watching this video, then you may want to pay attention to this. If you're somebody that is younger, you can still pay attention to it, and perhaps it'll give you some insights and wisdom for as you get older, and something that you can be aware of cognitively speaking, consciously aware of some of the little tools and tricks and tips that you can be practicing on a daily basis that will help you to age healthily. So first of all, I want to touch on a couple of definitions, if you will, by two large bodies and organizations, and what they perceive to be healthy aging. Okay, so if I take it straight verbatim, according to the Pan-African Health Organization, healthy aging is a continuous process of optimizing opportunities to maintain and improve physical and mental health, independence, and the quality of life throughout the life course. Okay, and quality of life throughout the life course. Then, according to the World Health Organization, it is defined as the process of developing and maintaining the functional ability that enables well-being in older age. Now, for the average layperson, I don't think many people are going to really grasp that and comprehend what it is that they're saying. So what I want to do is I want to break down what the Pan-American Health Organization noted on is opportunities to maintain and improve physical and mental health, independence, and quality of life throughout the life course. I want to touch on a couple of points, what I believe to be the opportunities that can help us to live a healthier aging lifestyle. Okay, so let's break it down a little bit, and then hopefully you'll be able to understand from there what it is. So typically there's 5 pillars of healthy aging that are generally agreed upon, all right? One of those is exercise and regular movement. Okay, so why do we want to age? Why do we want to be exercising and moving regularly as we age? Okay, as I touched on earlier, our bodies naturally slow down as we begin to age, right? And therefore, once we're aging over the age of 50 or exercising over the age of 50 is incredibly beneficial for our physical and mental well-being and health, okay? So some key benefits as to why exercising over the age of 50 is beneficial to us physically and mentally. Number one, improved mobility. I see people walking around very often. I want to use this term as derogatory in a sense, but kind of like invalids. All right, they're walking around with a Zimmer frame or walking sticks or something to aid them. Or sometimes, very often, I see people out and about with elderly folk, and they're walking with them arm in hand. And that's because they need to be taken care of to some degree when they're moving around. I saw a lady probably in her late 70s, early 80s this morning. She was standing on the side of the road as I was driving past, and as she walked onto the road, as she stepped onto the road, once I went past her, she had to hold her hands out to the side like this to help balance her before she started to walk on the road. Now, when we're talking about mobility, I truly believe that if more of us maintained a sense of mobility in our life, and we practice mobility exercises and things like stretching and learning how to move your body again like you were or like you did as you did when you were a child. All right? You don't need to be doing the jumping and the explosive movements like they do necessarily, but you should still be able to move your body pretty freely without too much limitation as we get older. And if you're not able to do that, then there's something there for you to start working on now to counteract the fact that as you get older, if you don't remain mobile, if you're not able to have a semblance of mobility within your movement and your movement patterns, then it's going to become more and more restrictive for you as you get older, all right? So this helps with things like your joints, your hips, your shoulders, your ankles, your knees, your elbows, your wrists, your neck. All these joints are able to last a lot longer, your spine, as a result of being mobile, and your body doesn't decay or become more decrepit as we get older, because everything becomes so tight and the limitations in our movement, it causes buildup of different calcification in joints and things like that. Because we're not moving, our ligaments and our tendons become very tight and brittle as a result of the fact that we're not stretching them regularly. You know what? We're not stimulating the growth hormones. We're not stimulating various other hormones and natural chemical processes that occur in the body when we do move and when we are exercising. So I'm not going to go too deep into the science behind all of that at this point in time, because this is not the conversation for that. But what I do want to emphasize and highlight is mobility is so important. This is something I work on all the time with each and every single client that starts with me. I don't care what level they're at. They've got to start with some level of mobility, and then we progressively move up to the next scale, the next step, and so forth and so forth and so forth. Okay, so simple strengthening exercises like squats and push-ups, and if you can, do assisted pull-ups or normal pull-ups if it's possible. Things like lunges. If you think of your different planes of motion that you have, all right, there's 7 planes of motion that we have. We have squat, we have push, we have pull, we have lunge, we have locomotion, walking, running, okay? We have flexion when you bend backwards and forwards, and we have rotation when you move from side to side. You should be able to accomplish those easily without any stress, without having to raise your heart rate, without having to sweat, quite comfortably. And age should not be a limiting factor around that either. Unless, of course, you've had certain injuries and operations, then yes, of course. then you may be limited to some degree, but that needn't to be an excuse either. You need to figure out a way to work your way around that with a professional, of course. Okay, so flexibility, low impact exercises like walking, swimming is fantastic. Walking is our natural way of movement. Swimming is a fantastic form of exercise as we get older, and then you can move and progress from there on in. Okay. Also, the other benefit of exercising is better mental health. So exercising regular exercising has a real positive impact on our mental health. We feel fresher. We have a brighter outlook on life. All right. And studies have shown that physical activity can reduce stress levels. I know it can do it. If I'm feeling really stressed out, and I've got clients, if they're feeling extremely stressed out from their businesses, whatever, then when they exercise with me, they just feel relaxed and calm and chilled. Okay. It improves your mood overall and even helps with symptoms of depression. Exercising also releases endorphins, which can make you feel happier and more energized throughout your day. So this is also one of the better reasons why it's great to exercise first thing in the morning. You wake up in the morning, you get moving, you do some form of exercise. It doesn't have to be overloading yourself. You don't have to be sweating profusely. Even if you're doing something like yogic movements or Tai Chi, Qigong, breathing exercises even, these benefit you, and that helps with those endorphin overload in the body, okay? And that makes you feel better as a result of that, as a consequence. The other one is reduce risk of diseases. So if you're staying active after the age of 50, it can help to reduce certain diseases, keeping your heart healthy, lowering your blood pressure, cholesterol levels, these kinds of things. It also helps maintain a healthy weight for you as well. So I'm sure you're pretty much aware of the fact that if you're overweight, okay, it's going to have there's going to be a cost and a burden on your organs and the functioning of your body. Again, I don't want to go deep into the science and the biology behind all of this, but I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, you are sane and logical enough to understand that if your body weight is over where it should be, and if you look at yourself in the mirror, if your clothing doesn't feel good, if you don't feel good looking at yourself in the mirror, and there can be some improvement there, you don't need to feel bad about it. I'm not saying that. We don't want to feel bad about ourselves. We want to be grateful for what we have and where we are. But at the same time, if you know that being overweight is not benefiting you, then why don't you do something about it? Then you need to do some moving. Get moving for yourself. Go hike. If you've got dogs or a dog, take your dogs out for walks every day, half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour and a half. Build it up incrementally. Take a day off. When you got your day off, go hiking. Do something that's going to get you moving, whatever it may be. All right? Go swim in a pool, swim in a lake, swim in the ocean. And also on top of that, regular exercise has also been linked to a lower risk of certain types of cancers, and breast cancer in women in particular. All right. Now, the second pillar of a healthy lifestyle is eating and nutrition. So again, why do we need to eat and change or eat healthy as we get older? Again, our body slows down. So the body's ability to recover and regenerate is not as efficient as it was when we were younger. Therefore, we need to safeguard the types of foods that we're eating. We need to be cognizant of, are we eating too many certain types of carbohydrates or empty carbohydrates in particular, processed foods, these kinds of things. When you improve upon your health and your nutrition, it helps to reduce again the risk of disease and supplies the body with the nutrients that it needs in order for the energy to be effectively generating through the body and for our bodies to recover and regenerate. So when we go to sleep at night, for example, our heart, our central nervous system and the organs are able to regain their function and go back to stay a balanced level, if you will. All right, I couldn't think of the exact word for that. But these are all part of the ecosystem that is our body. And when we go to sleep, our body needs to rest and recover. And if you're eating heavy foods at nighttime and you're not moving around a lot, or if you're feeling stressed and depressed and restless in your life, things like that, not fulfilled, all of these factors play a part, and it builds up in your body. And then when you go to sleep, you're not able to rest and recover, which is the primary purpose of rest and recover. I mean, of sleep is rest and recovery. Okay, so what types of foods or what type of nutrition should we be looking at? So this is obviously, person dependent, individual specific, all right? But we want to be focusing a lot on vegetables. We want to be also fruits, protein-based foods as well. And even meats, and for those carnivores out there, meat is fantastic for us. It is. We need meat. I truly believe we are omnivores. We are not herbivores as a species, all right? We certainly did not evolve by eating vegetables and fruits solely. We evolved by eating meat. However, if you look back in the caveman days or pre-agricultural age, people were lucky if they got meat once a week. So we should, because of that, our bodies are developed in a certain way. And the same applies to things like grains. Our bodies never developed necessarily to absorb and digest grains, dairy products as well. So if you're eating meat, eat meat maybe twice a week. You don't have to eat meat more than that. I know some people that eat meat 2-3 times a day. I used to eat like that as well. Growing up in South Africa, we would have meat 3 times a day sometimes. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then in between as well on a sandwich. But you don't need to be eating that much meat. It's really not necessary for our bodies, and our bodies struggle to cope when we have that much meat in our diet. Plus, there's many other factors as to why it's not as beneficial to us. But other than that, from a aging specific process or purpose, you want to cut back on your meat consumption, but still continue to eat meat, as in when you feel the need to eat it. And that includes fish as well. Fish is fantastic for us. It's a great source of nutrition, protein, fatty acids, which is great for our aging as well. It's really beneficial for your aging is the fatty acid consumption in our bodies, like omega-3s, these kinds of things. But you want to be focusing on grains, quality grains, okay? Not too much, but you want to balance as well. Everything in balance, everything in proportion. Vegetables, fruits, fresh stuff doesn't have to be raw all the time. You can cook it, but how do you cook it again? Okay, is there a lot of oil involved in your cooking process? Do you fry a lot of the food that you eat? If you're frying, how do you fry it? Okay, I fry quite a bit of my foods that I eat as well, but it's how do you fry the foods as well? Is it to make it more nutritious and more beneficial to my health? All right, and with anything, you shouldn't eat too much or too little of anything. The same can apply with water. If you drink too much water, it can be very unhealthy for you. You can drown by drinking too much water, and that's what drowning essentially is. So even drinking too much water can be detrimental to your health. But everything in balance, everything needs to be taken with a pinch of salt, so to speak. Okay, and then every function executed in the human body relies on the supply of electrolytes, carbohydrates, proteins, minerals, fats, and vitamins to perform properly. And the key here is also, again, fats. Fats have been demonized around the world for many years now. But I truly believe, and if you look at the science behind this, fats are beneficial for our bodies. Our bodies need fat. And the same with carbohydrates. Some people just never live on carbohydrates. And I don't see that as being healthily beneficial to us. Small amounts, doesn't have to be large plates full of rice and pasta or potatoes, whatever, just small amounts, okay? But the same goes with fats. If you're eating healthy fats, I'm talking about healthy fats here. So go do your research in terms of what are healthy fats for our bodies. What healthy fats do our bodies require? And start to introduce those into your diet if you have excluded fats from your diet because you believed up until this point that all fats are equal and all fats are evil. That's certainly not the case, all right? So healthy eating can really help with our bone density. It can help stave off cancer, cardiovascular disease, and a range of different things. But retrospectively, if we're deficient of these nutrients, that's when we develop bone loss. Okay, ladies, we develop cancers. We can develop various other cardiovascular diseases due to lack of nutritional density within our bodies. So if you're not able to get a lot of nutritional foods, quality, clean, healthy foods, and perhaps it's maybe, out of your price range or out of your geographical range, whatever the case may be, then you might want to be looking at a good quality nutritional supplement that's going to really help balance your nutritional requirements for your body. It's really important we take care of this. Okay, and again, this is not the conversation to go too deep into this, but from a scientific perspective or biological point of view, if this is something that you would like more information on, then let me know, and I'll be more than happy to delve deeper into that subject. And I'll do my research and take what I know already and deliver for you what I can based on what your questions may be. But nutrition is just as important as moving is nutrition. Many people, they go to the gym or they go to a gym and they want to get fit and healthy and they train, but they're not looking after their nutrition. And nutrition is more important than the actual training. The training complements the nutrition, okay? But nutrition is it's the key. This is our foundation. There's no point in having a nice looking car on the outside like an Audi or Alfa Romeo or Mercedes-Benz or whatever the car may be. There's no point in having a beautiful car on the outside, but the engine underneath the hood is crap. It needs to be efficient. It needs to be smooth running. It needs to be clean. It needs to be everything that it should be to suit the car, to go with the car. Okay. Healthy eating can also prevent things like diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, and many types of cancers. Okay, as stated by the President's Council on Fitness, Sports and Nutrition, carbohydrates provide the body with energy, while proteins help in repairing body tissue, and therefore making healthy eating habits will go a long way in ensuring a healthy aging for any individual. Okay, hydration. Again, we're talking about liquids here, hydration. What types, why? Okay, so put simply, our bodies are made up of approximately a little over 70% water. Our brains, we're looking at around about 80% of water, okay? So it goes to say that we should be hydrating our bodies on a regular basis throughout the day. I carry something like this with me all the time. I've either got this with me, I've got another bottle in my car with me, and as I'm driving, I'm sipping. I try to sip and drink. Like now, I feel dehydrated. Okay, so I'm going to have a little sip just to show you. But once you feel dehydrated, once you feel thirsty, it's already too late. You are dehydrated. Swirl it around my mouth a little bit so my brain knows liquid's coming, and then I swallow it down so my body can get ready to absorb that liquid before I even drink it. Okay, there's a little tip for you. If you do it for around 20-30 seconds, it prepares the brain. If you haven't drunk for a while and you are really thirsty, don't just gulp it down, because now your body's going to go into shock. A little tip for you here. And then your body's not going to necessarily absorb that liquid as much as it could do. But if you just swirl a little bit in your mouth for about 20 seconds or so, it gives the brain enough time to refigure, communicate to the body, and the body gets ready for the liquid that's going to be coming. And then you just slowly drink your water. Okay, so there's a tip for you there. So staying hydrated by drinking water throughout the day can improve healthy aging and reduce the risk of chronic disease, according to research. So this is something that I've known for many years, but unfortunately, I know the majority of us have not known. We are not aware of it. We may know, but we're not necessarily aware, if you understand what I mean. Okay? And it also helps with the normal functioning of the organs, hormones, and protection against the elements and so forth. And what I mean by the elements is pollution around us, sunlight, these kinds of things, okay? Water in your body decreases as you age. So your body's ability to hold on and function with water decreases as we age. Plus, your thirst response weakens as you age, all right? So as such, you do not feel thirsty as much. And this is why it's important to carry a bottle of water around with you all the time, so you get into the habit of sipping water on a consistent basis rather than waiting before you are thirsty, because then you are already dehydrated. And if your thirst response weakens as you age, it means that your body already requires water, but you're not feeling the thirst yet. So there's a compounded impact from that in itself. All right. So carry a bottle of water around with you. Therefore, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to scramble for getting to get water from somewhere if and when you are eventually thirsty. Some health conditions such as diabetes and excessive sweating can cause dehydration as well. Okay. Dehydration can cause a number of ailments, including muscle pain, fatigue, and heat exhaustion. You may notice I'm reading this here, okay, and I'm going to tell you out straight because I don't want to miss any important points here. Okay, it's important that I try to get this message across to you as best as I possibly can, eloquate it. So I want to make sure that if and when I'm not 100% in my thought process, then I'll just read a little bit so I make sure that I cover all the bases for you, because I want you to get the best benefit out of this video that you possibly can. Okay, so some useful tips on staying hydrated. Okay, so I mentioned to you already, I carry this around with me, stainless steel, or carry a glass bottle around with you. If that's not practical, maybe a plastic bottle is okay, but carry a plastic bottle that is protected by BPAs and the other chemicals that are there. BPA is not the only one that we need to be protected against. There are other chemicals in there. I can't think of the names right now, the acronyms, but just be aware of that too. You know, there's so many toxins out there, folks, all around us, everywhere we are, even in the foods we eat today. We just got to be very cognizant and aware and make sure we are trying to safeguard our own health as best as we possibly can without overdoing it and becoming too anal about it either. Just be sensible about it, but make the small incremental changes in your lifestyle every single day in some shape, form, or way, and eventually you'll notice, boom, your life's changed. Okay, simple as that. And you can also add some homemade electrolytes into your drink as well to make it more interesting as well to drink. So you're not just drinking plain, boring, bland water, although I love water. I know many people find water very bland. So you can add, like what I do inside this bottle right now is a couple of dashes of pure lemon juice. Sometimes I add sea salt to it, depending if I'm training outdoors and I know I'm going to be sweating a lot, then I'll add some sea salt to that as well. You can add ginger and lemon to your water. Maybe you can do a very simple ingredient or recipe I discovered yesterday from South Africa is just you boil some fresh ginger in water, or get the water to boil, put the ginger inside, bring it back to the boil, let it simmer for a couple of minutes, switch it off, let it just cool down, and then you drain that, and then you pour that into a bottle, add some fresh lemon after that. Bob's your uncle. Yeah, you got a beautiful, fantastic drink full of nutrients, full of rehydrating electrolytes, and you're good to go. You could also coconut water as well. Coconut water is another great resource for electrolytes and rehydrating our bodies. Just make sure that the coconut water is pure coconut water, because there's a lot of coconut water out there that is not pure. All right, and then limit your intake of liquids like sodas, alcohol, obviously, coffees, teas. You know, a lot of teas have got caffeine in them as well. So let's just limit the quantity and the intake of these kinds of beverages on a daily basis. Don't rush for the sodas when you're feeling thirsty. Go for the water first. Have a glass of water. And also another great way to stay hydrated as well after eating food, or before and after eating food, is drink a glass of water before you eat. Maybe about 20 to 30 minutes. Have a nice 500 ml glass of water. Okay, at the very least, 250 mils at the very least. Have that 20 to 30 minutes before you eat. That helps to fill you up a lot sooner, so you don't eat too much food, but it also helps your body to prepare before you eat. Okay, and then also maybe have a glass of water at nighttime on an empty stomach before you go to bed, maybe about half an hour before you go to bed, somewhere around there, preferably on an empty stomach, so that you don't end up waking early in the morning to go to the toilet. But if you have that glass of water before you go to bed on an empty stomach, your body will absorb that. And as I said, our bodies are more than 70% water, our brains more than 80% water. You're lying down in your bed, the water's pooling throughout the body, and you want that to be able to hydrate your system, okay? So, the third pillar, social engagement and cognitive stimulation. Whoa, big one, okay? So, social engagement. Now, for those of you folks that were isolated over the last 3 years at any given time, all right, you'll understand the importance of social engagement. I've living where I live right now, doing what I do. I work a lot online. Although I have my one-to-one clients, those are effectively the only people I see outside of my family for the most part are my clients. I don't have a lot of social engagements where I live right now, and that's just what it is, all right? But social engagement is very important. I do most of my social engagement online, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And you want to be cognitively stimulating yourself. So it's highly important that we engage with other individuals, and preferably people that offer us something in return. We want to be offering people, but we also want to be receiving from others at the same time. And what I mean by that is, if you're engaging with people that stimulate you mentally, all right, that offer something where you can have a discourse of some kind, a conversation about something that is of importance or passionate to you. What this does is again, it helps to stimulate the system. It gets our heart rate going. We feel better. We have a different disposition about ourselves, outlook on life. And it just really, studies have shown that there's actually a correlation between social interaction and brain health. So as one ages, being involved with others, being socially engaged is strongly associated with better brain function. So for elderly folks that engage a lot in charity work or in community work, you'll notice that they're typically a lot happier. They're a lot more engaged because they're a lot more engaged, right? And it's just important for our mental health in general. And our mental health is just as important as our physical health as we get older, if not more, because with the decline in mental health, the long-term issues from that are very often they're a lot sadder than the physical restrictions that can happen as we get older. People that have things like different forms of dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, these kinds of things, ALS, it can become very sad and very a big burden on ourselves and the people around us. And I don't want to sound insensitive to it, but it is a fact of modern day society. There's a lot more people struggling with these conditions and diseases in today, 2023, and it's incredible if I think about it. I mean, we should not have any of these conditions around us. With the technology we have today, the science we have, the knowledge that's out there, people should not be struggling with these diseases and conditions. Just pure and simple, we shouldn't be, but we are, unfortunately, and more so today than in the past. And a lot of that is to do with lifestyle. It's our lifestyle that has caused a lot of these conditions to crop up and exponentially in such a short space of time. Okay. So how being socially active improves and promotes healthy aging. So I'm going to do a bit of reading here so I make sure I cover all my bases. As I mentioned, it improves mental health. Regardless of the age, relationships we create with people and the connections we build with them have a significant impact on our emotional and mental health. From the time we are children to the time we are in our in our rocking chair, okay, on the stoop. It doesn't matter. It's important for us to build these connections and have a social environment, relationships on a regular basis, okay? As we age and we engage in activities with others who share the same passion as us and interests as us, okay, we're more likely to be part of positive interactions. I touched on that earlier, okay, because we tend to have a more positive and optimistic outlook in life. Knock-on effect, pure and simple. Enhanced cognitive function. Participating activities often require a good amount of concentration and focus. So even things like lawn bowls, playing golf, going on walks, hikes, groups of people walking their dogs together. All of these very simple, very basic, it doesn't take a lot of coordination, a lot of effort, a lot of energy or money for that matter, to be able to do these kinds of things. Perhaps golf costs a little bit more money for the average person, but doing simple things like this can really enhance our own mental cognitive health and awareness. All right. So then naturally diseases like dementia, memory loss will also be prevented or delayed at the very least as a consequence of this. Okay. Some common activities you can consider doing, I've touched on it: golf, lawn bowls, chess. In this part of the world, outdoor chess used to be a huge part of society and culture here in this part of the world, and I've seen that diminished significantly since I've been here. Maybe in the big cities you get a little bit more often, but people playing chess outdoors was a big part, and I'm talking about elderly people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s used to play a lot of chess outdoors. It keeps them focused and aware and sharp, Swimming, Cycling, whether it be outdoors or stationary cycling, different types of board games, crafts, okay? These are all beneficial for our cognitive health. They may seem mundane or inane, but they are really beneficial for us. It doesn't just have to be crossword puzzles and Sudoku. Those are great, but you want to be interacting and engaging with other people if and when you can, and these are great tools to use when you are engaging with other people. And if you have that opportunity, take it, all right? It also lowers the risk of health issues. Seniors with healthy levels of social engagement tend to live longer than those who don't, okay? That's a fact. It's because with social engagement, we get to improve our physical health, which in turn lowers the health risks that are associated with that. And also, if you're doing things in groups, it just becomes more fun. It becomes more engaging. You look forward to the next time, as opposed to if you're doing something by yourself all the time. It becomes very difficult to be accountable to yourself. Unless it's something that you're very passionate about, that you don't need somebody else to drive you to get there to do it. I mean, I'm talking drive you motivationally speaking. If that's the case, then great, carry on with that. But also try to find things that are socially engaging, like playing a team sport or doing some group activities, group exercise, like aqua aerobics for you ladies, all right? I used to teach aqua aerobics to a group of elderly ladies in South Africa back in the day, and they were all, the moment they came into that pool and they left that pool, their energy was so high and they were so young again, and they were giggling and laughing and little whispers in the ears and all kinds of stuff like that. And that's what we all want to see for ourselves, right? So, and then also there's a sense of belonging and purpose as well. Another thing which you can look in the data will show you is that when people retire, and they've no longer got responsibilities or a purpose in life, very often they decline in health very rapidly as a result of that. So by being socially engaged, by optimizing your cognitive functioning, you are creating a sense of purpose if anything, for yourself. And the more responsibilities that we have as we get older, the better for our health. The moment you start taking responsibilities away from yourself and you stop doing certain things that keep you accountable to something or to somebody or to somewhere or somehow, whatever the case may be, then that lack of those responsibilities no longer gives you any purpose. It's a real shame because I don't see any reason why anybody that's aging should have fewer and fewer responsibilities, unless that's something that you want. If not having responsibilities is a great thing for you because perhaps you've had a business for 50 years and you don't want to have responsibilities anymore, the kids have grown up, they've left home, whatever, then great. But I don't see that as being a fulfilling life or aging lifestyle. I don't see that as you can go on holidays and have trips here and there all the time, but there's nothing fulfilling in that. There's nothing to give you passion for. In order to wake up in the morning and be excited about life. We still want to be excited about life when we're in our 70s and 80s, right? So being socially engaged gives you that. It gives you that sense of belonging. It gives you that sense of purpose, all right? I don't need to touch on that anymore, I don't think. And then increase in personal care and better quality of sleep as well. So when we are engaging with others regularly, there is a tendency to want to be more presentable in front of our peers. We want to comb the hair, trim the beard, shave, whatever the case may be, put the makeup on, put on a nice set of clothing. Whereas if we're at home and we're by ourselves or just with our family, we can be like slobs and sloths. If I'm walking around here at home, I wear an Asian... what do you call it? I can't think of the word now. Wow, I'm getting old. But I wear like an Asian skirt, a Sri Lankan skirt, and I wear that around the house very often. But if I have guests coming here, I'm not going to walk around like that. I'll dress up a little bit, look a bit more presentable. And when I go outside, I want to be as presentable as possible. Okay, so our personal care is important as we get older. It leads to a healthier state of mind, more confidence, and we have a rosier outlook on life. And therefore, as a direct consequence of that, our energy is in a higher state of being, due to sense of satisfaction. The quality of our sleep improves significantly. It really does. All right. Sleep is a byproduct of that. The quality of our sleep is improved significantly. So with all of this in mind, let's take a look at an additional opportunity, which I believe is to be just as integral to our longevity and health and aging in general. All right. And one which I do see being more accepted and practiced by older folk, or those that are aging, okay, than in years gone by. And that opportunity is, let's cover the first five again. So first five, we're looking at mobility, exercise, movement. Then we covered social engagement and health and nutrition. My apologies. So why was health and nutrition beneficial to us? Why was moving and exercise beneficial to us? Okay, it all to do with energy. It's all to do with the ability and the freedom to be able to move around and staving off diseases, lifestyle-related diseases, and other conditions that creep up on us as we get older. Hydration was another factor as well. Drinking plenty liquids throughout the day and making sure that we never go thirsty. Okay, once you're thirsty, you're hydrated already. And why is that important? Because our body is made up of more than 70% water, our brain's around 80% water. Then we spoke about social engagement and cognitive stimulation, and how by being socially engaged and cognitively stimulated with and together with others, all right, it helps with our confidence levels, our sense of belonging, our purpose, these kinds of things. And that also helps to slow down the aging process because our energy is higher. We feel better about ourselves. Okay, so those are the five commonly recognized pillars of health, or healthy aging, I should say. So for me, the next one I want to talk about, something that is very important to me, and it's a subject that I've become deeper ingrained with over the last few years, and that's the state of mind. So this is more of psychology and our psychological state. What is our state of mind? Okay. So the concept of that aging is a state of mind suggests that an individual's perception and attitude towards the process of getting older can significantly impact their overall experience throughout aging. Right? This idea emphasizes the psychological and emotional aspects of aging rather than just focusing on the physical changes that naturally occur as we grow older. So, like I mentioned to you in the beginning, I don't feel like I'm nearly 51. I just don't. Physically, mentally, emotionally, maybe emotionally I'm getting a little bit older emotionally now, maybe, perhaps. But mentally and physically, I just don't feel like I'm nearly 51. I feel much younger. Okay, in case you were asking the question, which one is it? I feel much younger. I just do. I feel I can do things today a lot easier than I used to be able to do when I was younger. Okay, I definitely have more mobility than I did when I was younger. Definitely have more mobility. I'm extremely flexible. I have strong joints. I can do things with my body and move my body in ways that I just couldn't, except for when I was perhaps a professional dancer. Okay, but prior to that, no chance. All right. So, state of mind is something that it's all up here. Our mind can play tricks on us, and our ego very often gets in our way of being able to move forward our lives and develop as an individual. And the reason being is because the ego is something that is it's inherently stuck on defending its own state of being. Okay, so you don't need to look at the ego as a physical thing, because it ain't. But if you look at your mind as being a conscious mind, the things we think of every single day, and the subconscious mind, or the automatic mind, the things that happen, just we don't even think about anymore, the habitual things we do every single day. Our ego is related to that and that, but it is present in our conscious mind, where it keeps reminding us of, don't go out and do that. Don't change things around, because it's just going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. And then we see how other people relate to aging around us, and how their perspective of aging is, and how they see aging as being, well, it's just a consequence. I'm sick because I'm old, or I can't move because I'm old, and it's okay because I'm old. Really? But if you change the way you think about aging and how aging can benefit you, because now you are wiser, you're more experienced, you have a lot to offer the world, a lot more than people will give you credit for. You have a lot more to offer the world than people will give you credit for. A lot more. Okay? So if you think about that and you decide that I want to be here for as long as I possibly can, and whilst I'm here as an aging individual, I want to be able to deliver and give as much as I possibly can to the world around me, the younger generation, perhaps young parents or kids or teenagers or whomever. But if you think of life like that, like you want to give back now because you've received after all these years, now you want to give back to society in whatever shape, form, or way that may be. It could be becoming a coach of a team of some kind, or a sport, individual sport. It could be, I don't know, getting involved in your community and society in terms of uplifting your environment around you, helping homeless people. It could be any area, doesn't really matter. But that's how I like to look at my opportunity as somebody who's aging, is to be able to give back more, impact more in the life of the people that are around me and have been around me over all these years, okay? And the people that I'm yet to meet. If I can impact a little bit at a time, then the fact that my aging, where I am right now, the experiences that I've gained over the years, the knowledge that I've learned, and the tools that I have available to me, and the habits that I practice every single day to keep me living healthily, if I can share that with other people, then that gives me that purpose. That gives me a sense of belonging, all right? Even if it's just in my mind, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, that builds my confidence levels. It builds my sense of accountability, not just to myself, but to the people around me. And that changes my state of mind automatically. And I've learned that by focusing on what you want to see in your life happen, only that, not thinking about the other stuff that you don't want to have happen in your life, it really does counter everything else that's going on around you by just focusing on what you want to see happen in your life. Because we are creators of our own reality. Pure and simple, we are. The science has proven this. Quantum physics proves that we are the creators of our own reality. So if you just focus on what it is that you want to see in your life happen, then by a miracle of the universe, if you will, it will happen. You don't necessarily need to know how you're going to get there. Yeah, and you may think to yourself, yeah, I'm in my 50s already, or I'm 60 years old, or I'm in my late 40s. What do I have to offer the world around me? Or why do I want to change what I'm doing right now in my life? You don't need to change anything. But if you're feeling that you are getting old, if you're feeling that, yes, this is my lot in life, whatever, I'm going to get sick, I'm going to get old, I'm going to get decrepit, I'm going to be popping pills for the rest of my life, okay, then good luck. But if that's your reality, or if that's what you don't want to see happen in your reality, then you need to start thinking differently and change your state of mind so you can change the frequency in your body. You can change, we have approximately 50 trillion cells in our body. May vary from individual to individual, but approximately 50 trillion cells. And each cell has its own unique function. And if that cell becomes sick for any given reason, okay, and we don't take care of those cells or that cell or that part of our body, over time it's going to develop an ailment, an illness. It's going to develop something, okay, because that sick cell is not going to become a healthy cell just because. We need to take care of it. We need to look after ourselves. And because that was all based around energy, and everything is light and everything is energy, if we change the way we think about ourselves, our body, our aging, and the world around us, the energy within us will change. And if you think of anything that you've achieved over in your life, now this goes not just for us folk that are aging, but for the youngsters in particular. Anything that you've achieved in your life, okay, it took you to become a different person in order for you to achieve that in the first place. You had to change. And what happens when you change as an individual? You grow. Your vibration changes. Your energy changes. Okay? It's just science. It's biology. So in order for us to be able to change the way we see aging, we need to focus on changing our frequency, our energy levels. We need to get out and do things. We need to eat healthier. We need to move. We need to be more flexible. We need to be hydrated. We need to be cognitively energized. We need to be socially engaged with other people. And then that will help us to change our state of mind. And we can we can do that in our own space as well. We can focus in our own little space and start to picture in our mind the world we want to see around us, and create how we can create our own world around us in our own unique space. And they can all start from inside here, between these two ears, and in your own home. You don't need to go out anywhere for that. You can do that in your own space, in your own quiet time, and start to visualize and focus, okay? Because there is a mind-body connection. There definitely is a mind-body connection. They've tested athletes in the past, and they still test athletes today, I'm sure, every day, where an athlete just thinks about what they do without actually moving, and their muscles react accordingly, okay? So if you're thinking about something that you want to be doing, and you're focusing on things that you want to create in your life, as somebody who's an aging person, all right, is getting to that age where typically the society will look at you and think, oh, you're old, or you're getting old. But you don't want to be seen that way, perhaps. You don't want to feel that way. You don't want to behave that way necessarily. Okay, why would you want to behave and act old? I don't get that, okay? For some people, yeah, it's nice to be an old grandfather or grandmother with the grandkids around and all of that kind of stuff, and be taken care of, and have people pander to you because you're whatever, okay? Whatever your case may be, situation. And that's cool. And I had grandparents that kind of were like that as well, you know? But I also had grandparents that were not like that as well. You know, they were more active, more vibrant, more of a go-getter type of individuals. And then later on in life, they became more like that, because that's what society perceived them to be. And they went along with that narrative. But I don't believe we need to go along with that narrative. I believe that we can create our own narrative for ourselves as we get older. So, and I mentioned about mindset and resilience. You know, a positive mindset and ability to adapt to changes are important factors in successfully navigating the challenges that come with aging. Being able to adapt to the changes around us is so important, especially as we get older. Because in our brain, we've got these synapses and these connections in our brains that become solidified. And if we're not using certain parts of the brain relating to different, stimuli, okay, for example, riding a bicycle. If you don't use those connections in the brain to learn how to ride a bicycle, that tells your body what to do when you're riding a bicycle, you start to lose that. You jump on a bicycle tomorrow, it might take you a couple of tries, and you'll be back and up and running again. Okay, but when you're living a rigid lifestyle, and you're only doing certain things, you're only eating certain foods, you're only watching, experiencing certain things, certain stimulus, and something new comes in, you become resistant to that change. And as we get older, that's not healthy for us, because when we once become resistant to change, we're resistant to new ideas and new possibilities that could be out there for us to live a happier, healthier, longer life. So it's important that we remain flexible in our mental state, that we accept and embrace change. We don't always have to agree with it and go along with it, but it's important that we learn how to stay flexible in our minds, in our mental health, so that we can accept change when it's presented to us, and recognize the change for what it really means and what it can really be in our lives. Social interaction, we spoke about that as well. Staying socially engaged and maintaining strong relationships can play a crucial role in countering feelings of isolation and loneliness that sometimes accompany aging. Positive social interactions contribute to mental and emotional well-being. I say this again and again and again because it's so important. All right? Embracing change, once again. Seeking new experiences. Individuals feel more empowered and engaged as they age when they are seeking these experiences, new experiences. Maybe it's mountain climbing for you. Maybe it's to learn how to sail. Who knows? Okay. Also, cultural and social influences, societal influences as well. Cultures around us and society around us is changing at a rapid rate. And if we're not open to embracing changes and we're not ready for changes around us, this is going to impact our ability to sustain that change, or to continue to live within that change. We don't have to agree with it, as I said to you, but if we're not able to adapt to it because we can't see it anymore, we're no longer able to identify with those changes, we tend to push it away a lot easier, and we just say, no, I don't want to know, I don't want to see. Okay. Yes, we don't necessarily want to see the things that are going on around us all the time, but it's important we are aware of it, and it's important we recognize what those changes are. So, for example, if you drive a car and things are changing, cars unfortunately are changing to electric cars very quickly. Maybe you just don't agree with electric vehicles. Okay, like I do. I don't necessarily agree with electric vehicles as being the solution right now, but that's my personal point of view. All right. Maybe you feel the same, and now one day in the next 5 years, maybe you're forced to drive an electric vehicle, and you have no idea what an electric vehicle is and how it works and what it entails, and because you don't like change, you say no, and now you decide, I'm not going to drive a car anymore, and that takes away another freedom of yours, another responsibility or sense of confidence and well-being for you, being able to drive a car, have that freedom. Trust you get what I'm saying. And then also personal growth as well. Many people find as they age, they have more time for self-reflection, personal growth, and the pursuit of meaningful activities. And this can lead to a greater sense of purpose and fulfillment in later stages of life. Personal growth is something that I've embraced since I was in my 20s. First, I was introduced to it. I was probably in my late 20s, maybe mid to late 20s. I was first introduced to personal growth, and I've embraced it ever since. It's been part of my life. I still read books. I'm not getting sponsored for this, but here's a great book anybody can read, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You read it over and 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 over again ad endum. It's a great life tool, that book. But books in general, personal growth in general, of any kind, whatever your interest may be, that it's huge for us. It's huge for our sustainability in society as well as anything else. It gives us, personal growth invites opportunities into your life. By telling the universe, by studying something new, by learning new information, you're telling the universe you're ready for change, you're ready for new opportunities. And things can happen to you. You may be in your 60s, you're thinking of retirement, but all of a sudden, by having personal growth in your life as part of your life, new opportunities come to you, and you have this opportunity to maybe start a business of some kind and give you that new sense of purpose, a new sense of belonging, that new passion and desire in your life, which we all should have every single day. Doesn't matter how old we live to be, if you have passion, desire, and sense of purpose, it gives you something. It gives you something that nothing can be taken. You can't be taken away from you until you decide to let it go. So let's wrap this up. Okay, some positive outlook can benefit our health and condition as we age. And here are some simple, actionable steps you can take to encourage positivity. Keep a gratitude journal. I have a journal which I write in every morning, and you can do this at nighttime before you go to bed. Things that you're grateful for through your day, perhaps. But I write down 4 things that I'm grateful for every day, different things. But one thing is always consistent that I write down every single day is I'm grateful to be alive, healthy, and strong for today. And then I write down 3 other things which I'm grateful for as well, and they change from day to day. I don't think about it. I just write, I'm happy and grateful now, whatever it comes to my mind. Volunteer. Numerous studies have shown that seniors who give of their time and talents are happier, more sociable, and healthier. I touched on that earlier. Focus on the positive. When times are tough, it is easy to dwell on the negatives. Try to make a conscious effort to look for the good and the humor in difficult situations. State of mind. Really, it is. It's your state of mind. You choose to respond to situations in your life. Nobody can force you to respond in a certain particular way based on what you see and experience. It's up to you how you respond to it. And then get some fresh air. Go out walking with your dogs. If you don't have a dog, get a dog. Dogs are beautiful, man. They're so much fun to have around, and they just offer so much in our lives, and they're great teachers. Dogs are great teachers, believe me. The dog that we have, she's an amazing teacher for all three of us, because you'll see, it's difficult to explain, but yeah, we have a dog that comes from an abusive background. She was extremely abused as a young dog. I don't even want to think about what may have happened to her when she was young, but she's taught us a lot of lessons. And many of us come from abusive backgrounds. So it's not all dogs are abused, but just get a dog, have a pet, find a pet, but go out, get some fresh air. And if you can't go out hiking or go to the beach on a regular basis or something, and if you have a plot of land around you and maybe a park somewhere or a garden somewhere, you have your own private garden, get outside, take your shoes and socks off, stand on the grass, walk around for a little bit, do something on the grass for about 20-30 minutes. You'll notice the difference. Start off even just for 10 minutes. It might be, you might be a bit agitated in the beginning, but walking around on the grass in your bare feet, or even in the sand on the beach, does wonders to your health. It really does. It helps to ground you, gives you that energy that comes from the earth, and it just really stimulates your body, okay? And your mind. And then seek out other positive people. I mentioned this as well about personal growth and the people that we surround ourselves with. If you're around other people that are there to stimulate you and they're there to question you, hold you accountable to the words that you say, the actions that you take, those are true friends, by the way. Not the ones that keep quiet and then speak loud words on the sidelines. The ones that will face you up and tell you what it is, as they see it. Those are the true friends. And the more friends that we can have like that in our lives as we get older, I think the bigger the blessing for all of us. So I trust this has helped, and it's helped you to understand a little bit more, and if not in a great deal, about aging and your health and what it really means for you to live a healthy lifestyle as you and I continue to age. It's because no matter what we do today, tomorrow, next week, 1 month's time, if we're not making those changes, if we're not changing the habits that we practice each and every single day, you're going to get 5 years, 10 years down the line, you're going to be the same person, if not worse. You'll be very fortunate if you're the same person in 5 years' time in terms of your health, if you don't start making changes today. So start making those changes, small steps at a time. You don't need to turn a forest over. You don't need to overturn a wood. Just one little step at a time, one little incremental step. Do one habit, introduce one new thing into your life each and every single day if you can. It could be very simple, small things. So, if you take, for example, going out, getting outside, getting fresh air, making it a daily habit. Start for 20 minutes, then half an hour, then 45 minutes, then an hour, then an hour and a half. Before you know it, you'll be getting up early in the morning on a Saturday and going for a 3-hour hike. Okay. Then start making small changes in your foods that you eat, the types of foods that you eat, and then start thinking about taking on a professional if you can. If not, there's plenty of resources. You can go find your own information. Start learning about mobility exercises. Start learning about how to just move your body and relearn how to move your body. Because once you start to do these exercises and these types of movements where it's involving mobility in particular, specifically, your brain will remember, and you will start to go, oh yeah, I get this, okay. And the body will start to just feel a lot freer and easier, and you're going to strengthen yourself as a result of that. And then seek other people out. Look for other people to engage with and create a community. Whether you're the lead in that or not, maybe there's already a community that exists somewhere where you are in your area where you live. Find people that have a similar mindset to you that will become your new friends. And this is another tip as well. If you leave the opportunity open every day to making new friends, the world is your oyster in that sense, because who knows who you're going to meet tomorrow? Who knows the type of individuals, the group of people you're going to encounter on any given day if you remain open-minded to that idea. Because when you're willing to make new friends and meet new people and learn about different cultures, different ways of doing things, then the possibilities are endless. And this is, again, another small habit, just a small habit to implement into your daily life. So again, I trust this has made a difference. Trust this has helped in some shape, form, or way. And if there's any way that I can be of assistance in this regard, make sure you reach out to me. Don't be shy. Just message me whatever platform this is on. You can find me privately somewhere on LinkedIn, Facebook. You can find me, all right? And then at the end of the day, just take the step forward yourself. You need to make the initial step. And remember, a journey of 1,000 steps starts with the first one. That's all it is. It's a journey of 1,000 steps, and it starts with one step at a time. And just take it one day at a time, and don't overdo yourself. Don't make it a chore. Don't make it a burden on you or anybody else for that matter. And also remember this as well. You can create anything you want in your life as long as you're not taking away from anybody else or you're not causing harm to anybody else. You can create anything you want in your life. Take care. I look forward to speaking to you soon. And also, if you message me down below here, I'm going to give you a very cool little process that I use every single morning to get my day started, where my energy is on the right plane, the right level. I'm vibrating in a positive note, and I'm also just making notes mentally, emotionally, and physically on the future that I want to create and that I see for myself and the people around me. If you want to know more about that and how that looks, message me down below here, wherever this may be, and I'll be happy to share those tools with you. Take care. Till next time, speak to you soon. Bye-bye.